My daughter's been training jiu-jitsu since she was 4. She's been doing jiu-jitsu competitively for about 6 months now, and I swear, for the life of me, she is not improving, like, not even a little bit. She's competed a couple times, she's got hurt, but where's the improvement? I swear that I'm doing this for nothing. But in this video, I'm gonna tell you why your kid is improving, and I'm an idiot because I didn't know my daughter was improving, but she is. So as the months and the years progress with my kid doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I was just like, man, she keeps getting smashed, she keeps losing, she's going to these competitions and getting smashed, she's getting silver, the tears and all that jazz. Why am I doing this? But what I didn't notice was there were little signs that were showing improvement in my daughter's jiu-jitsu in her everyday life. For adults who train, I train, I'm a 3-star blue belt. So we're looking for submissions, we're looking to control, we're looking for these takedowns, we're looking for everything. But the kids, they are looking for those things, but it's not the same. They're improving in other ways. And that's something to keep in mind. But what I did have to stop doing was I had to stop comparing my kid to other kids. There are some kids that have been training for since they were 2. There are some kids who just athletically gifted. There are some other kids who are wrestlers. So that's the main thing you have to stop doing is comparing your kid to other kids. Every kid's journey is different. So that's number one thing you have to do to notice that your kid is improving and stop comparing them to other kids because they're on their own journey. So one thing with my daughter that I noticed that she was improving in was her confidence. I didn't notice it, but she was more comfortable in situations that she wasn't comfortable in previously. Like, say, for example, we would go and meet other kids at the playground. She wasn't the type of kid to go up and play with other kids and introduce yourself. Hi, I'm so and so. Let's play. She would just kind of do her own thing. And if the kid would come up to her, then she would address it then. But now she goes to the playground, she's out of here. She's going to this group of kid, that group of kid, wherever, it doesn't matter. But what she has been doing is she's confident in herself at 7 years old, mind you. She's confident in herself to go to these other kids and figure it out because she's rolling and grappling with these kids in jiu-jitsu. What does it matter if she goes to the playground and talks to these other kids? If your kid is doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they're going to get stronger. And that's one thing you're not going to notice because when they start Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they're doing all these warm-ups, sit-ups, push-ups, squats, whatever the case may be. But as the time progresses, you're going to notice that they're doing these push-ups, they're doing these squats a lot easier, they're doing these burpees a lot easier. With my kid, she wasn't the most, she is athletic, but we really didn't do much exercise as in have my baby get down and do push-ups, sit-ups, wall sits. We didn't really do that. But when she started jiu-jitsu, she could not do a sit-up. Excuse me, she could not do a push-up. And just recently, she did like 4 or 5 of them. In addition to her doing 4 or 5 of these push-ups, she led the warm-ups in class for push-ups. And if you know my daughter, she ain't the one to talk in front of a lot of people. But when she did these warm-ups in class, not only did she lead the push-up, she counted the push-ups as far as up and down. So that was pretty impressive, knowing my daughter and how she is. That was pretty impressive at all. And she's even getting little back muscles, which I noticed the other day. Like, my kid has back muscles. I feel like she has better back muscles than me. Also, when you're going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, one thing that you have to keep in mind with improvement that you may not see are the movements of jiu-jitsu, like the shrimps, the forwards rolls, the backwards rolls, the butt scoots, the retaining guard, all these things that they couldn't do. But now, 6 months in, they're doing flawlessly. So that's another thing you should keep in mind, that your kid didn't know how to do any of these things. Although they may not be winning and they may be getting smashed, they weren't able to do these movements when they just started jiu-jitsu. So keep that in mind as well. They're improving some kind of way, just not in the winning aspect way. Again, I say this all the time. It is agonizingly slow. So as a parent, take your kid to jiu-jitsu, you're seeing them train every day at jiu-jitsu. So you may not be noticing the improvements off top, but it's just like if you're on a weight loss journey with your spouse, you see your spouse every day. You're not really going to know the improvements and the weight loss that they're on unless you get out and measure their waist and measure their arms and things like that. So it's the same thing about your kid in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You may not notice the improvements, but believe me, they're improving. They're just little small increments of their improvement that you got to look out for. In the comments, let me know, are you noticing that your kid is improving? What improvements do you see? Maybe I missed some. Let me know in the comments because I'll be interested to hear and apply that to my own journey of a parent in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu because it is not for the weak. But our next video, we're going to talk about the positives of putting your kid in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu because there are a lot of stressful moments as a parent with your kid in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Let's talk about the positives that we get from when we put our kid in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And that's going to be next.